Coach. How are you? Outstanding.
Yeah.
Good. Coach Rick Neuheisel is here. When the radio audience rejoins, we'll have a nice, fun chat. Your dad's here, huh? Your dad's here? Your dad's here?
Is here.
That's so cool.
My mother is here, the original Dick and Jane.
Are you bringing them
doing
both
the
to
Big
the Emmys
Apple.
tonight?
They're coming tonight, yeah.
Look at you, man.
That's fun.
Good
I mean,
for
I
you.
said, don't expect me to win or anything, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to shake hands with a lot of the A-listers.
Well, you're going to, yeah.
Like yourself.
Oh, gosh.
Congratulations on your nomination.
Oh, I have no shot.
I don't believe that for a second.
You sure?
Not after I saw you in the booth at the 7th inning of Wrigley Field.
Now, wait a minute.
Take me out to the
now,
ball
if it was just me and you,
game.
if it was you, Mariucci.
Mariucci did not know the words.
He did not.
There was no way he knew the words.
There is no question in my mind. I even said to him, well, we'll wait till the radio audience comes back because we got about 15 seconds left in this segment. It's too good to spoil now. But we flat out asked him if he knew the words.
You finished strong though with, let's get some runs.
They cut out the WGN broadcast.
What I saw it.
Attaboy.
Let's get some runs. You finished strong.
I did finish strong.
And joining me here now is a fellow Emmy nominee tonight from the Pac-12 Network and also now of CBS Sports, nominated for Best Studio Analyst tonight. Rick Neuheisel, good to see you.
Great to be here, my friend.
Thanks for being here, Coach.
I'm a huge fan of yours. I wish you all the best tonight.
Thank you. Same to
Expect
you.
nothing but the great things for you.
Same to you.
Me, I'll be in that also ran category, but that's fine.
No, hold on a minute now. You are only up against 3 other people.
Charles
just
Barkley, Harold Reynolds,
right.
Tom Verducci.
That's it.
Harold and Tom both won last year.
Now, so they cancel each other out. I think it's just you versus Charles right now.
Sir Charles.
Now,
he
but
likes
you
to be
have
called.
you don't know that you have an advantage though. You have a distinct advantage.
Give it to me.
And it's not just because you are who you are, and I've known you for a while, and that you did 2 shows, not 1 but 2, with my lovely wife.
Yes.
Filling in while I was at the
Which was
combine.
outstanding.
She loved it.
She was terrific.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. And not only that, but all that put together, do you know who is presenting your award tonight?
I think I heard you say you are the presenter.
I am presenting it with Eric LeGrand of Rutgers.
Is that right?
Yes. The 2 of us will be up there on the stage.
What a cool thing.
So what's it worth to you is basically what I'm saying.
Well, we'll have to talk.
Because I have
my mother and father don't have very many trips back to New York.
There you go. So this is your mother and father are here, right?
Dick and Jane.
Dick and Jane
Do the Big Apple. Exactly
are
right.
here, and I have the envelope and the live microphone. I could just say,
one
I could
little
just flat out say,
alteration.
I could just flat out say, you deserve it on your own, but that's just it. Let's just say the voters decided somebody. What if I could just say, Rick Neuheisel wins? And then just stare at the Emmy producers and say, try and stop me now. Try and stop me now.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
You are the man with the ultimate power at that point.
You have
the ultimate power at that time. I think we should talk. I think we really should talk.
This is an offline
Harold
conversation.
and Tom already have one.
Well, can you tell Coach Neuheisel the I guess win rate for Bob Costas, who's a Wednesday guest, by the way?
Yeah, so for most outstanding studio host, Bob's been nominated 18 times. He's won at 16 of those 18.
16 of 18?
Of 18 times.
That's large. He didn't show up last year.
And in charge. He didn't?
He did not show up to accept his award. So by virtue of that, maybe he falls a little from grace.
How many yachts can one water
Rich,
behind?
the committee could hold that against him this year, his no-show.
Yeah, no-show. That's what I'm saying.
But the way
he thinks he's too big for us, we'll show him.
I don't think Bob wins this year.
You don't?
I don't. I just got a hunch.
It's an Eisen type of night, isn't it?
It feels Eisen-y.
Does it really feel?
Very Eisen-y.
It really does.
Well, it's Ernie
and
John.
Anybody who saw your performance at Wrigley Field
unfortunately,
would be
that
motivated to change their tune if they had thought otherwise.
Well, as you know, that's sort of like somebody performing well in the playoffs. You know that has no bearing on the actual award because it's voted before the playoffs. And I appreciate that means you think that my performance at Wrigley Field was playoff caliber.
Not only was it playoff caliber, but it carried the day because you had a couple of folks up there with you that were unwilling to pull their own weight.
Dragging me down.
Well, hold on, guys.
Dragging you down.
Here's what Jeff Garland thought of your performance.
She and Mariucci were really horrible. He was just regular horrible.
Yeah.
Just regular horrible.
But Melissa Stark and Mariucci were.
Mooch did not know the words.
He did not.
100%.
I looked at
no
him.
seventh inning in football.
I looked at him afterwards, and I said, "You didn't know the words, did you?" And he goes, "No, Mooch. No, of course I did. Like, you're crazy."
No way.
Right?
No way. He was reading your lips. He was like, "What's the next line?"
He did.
How do you stay up with the organ when you got to keep Mooch along, right? How do you do that?
Thank
it's
you.
impossible.
Thank you, Coach. Because he also said, but here's what he.
All right.
This is what he.
Let me hear you.
Yes. And I did have a beer and inning. I had a beer and inning before. So it was a seventh inning stretch.
Thing.
You
it's
could
a
do the
beautiful
math.
Thing.
So Mooch did allow, though, that he goes, I didn't know it was Cracker Jack. I thought it was Cracker Jacks. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you were off from the beginning. He didn't know. It's just Bobby
just that plural.
Cracker Jack.
That plural just threw him
He
for a
couldn't
loop.
handle it.
Can understand that.
I'm here with Rick Neuheisel, Emmy Award nominee here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so Brett Hundley goes to Green Bay.
Great spot for him. Considering that he didn't go as early as I thought, certainly he thought, it is the perfect landing spot.
Why?
Because he's going to get a chance to follow and learn from a really, really talented guy in Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers had been through what he's going to go through, which is that time in the saddle where you watch. And I think a perfect spot. Now, as I watch this, I'm trying to come to grips with why did not Brett Hundley go earlier, given that he has all the physical tools to be that kind of player. He came from a spread offense. So you have to make the decision as an organization and as a head coach, am I going to not just draft the player, but also draft the offense? Clearly, Tennessee, with the second pick and Mariota, has decided they're going to move in that direction. Right. They can't take a franchise player like Marcus Mariota and not bring some of what he did so well at the University of Oregon in his post-snap decision-making. They have to bring some of that to get the Titans up to speed, much like RG3 in year one brought a lot of the Baylor offense. Mike Shanahan went and studied Baylor tape and incorporated it, and they went to the playoffs. Now, because of the knee, they decided to deviate from that and hasn't had nearly the same success as he enjoyed in year one. But with Hundley, for whatever reason, they decided, okay, we're not going to draft his offense. We're going to take him later and develop him. And if that's the case, then he's gone to the perfect franchise because they do develop from within. And Aaron Rodgers is a great person to watch. Even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't take him under his wing, he'll be a perfect person to watch and learn from vicariously.
I've got Rick Neuheisel in studio. Let's take a quick break. 60 seconds. We come back. I want to get much deeper, and you just made a couple points, certainly about Aaron Rodgers, and then also what Mariota needs to have done on his behalf by the staff. We have Rick Neuheisel here in studio, 844-204-RICH. If you want to call and chat with Rick Neuheisel in the same way that we took phone calls with Fowler and Paul Rudd, we'll do that with Coach Rick Neuheisel when we come back on the Rich Eisen Show from New York.
With the 11th pick of the 5th round, the Green Bay Packers choose 147th overall, Brett Hundley, the quarterback from UCLA.
I remember that call on the third day of the draft. We showed it live from, I guess it looked like one of those a sports bar that the Packers utilized to make their picks on Saturday. I don't remember Pink Floyd playing at the same time, though. I don't remember. Was that something that we just did?
It was more of a polka number, I think.
Oh, yeah. Polka Floyd is what I think they were playing.
Polka Floyd.
Got it. That's more of Wisconsin. I have Rick Neuheisel here in studio again. That was I was stunned. I was absolutely floored because Ted Thompson traded up to do that. Traded up to go get Brett Hundley. And I think Aaron Rodgers will throw his arm around him because he is the type of guy that remembers it wasn't all peaches and cream with Brett Favre.
That's exactly right.
And I don't think he feels threatened whatsoever. He's not nearly at the stage of his career now as Brett Favre was in advancing years. Aaron Rodgers, we all know, knocking on wood for him and the Packers, at least 10 years left in that spot, playing most of those 10 years at such a high level. We were talking about Mark Brunell being or Hasselbeck being the career path for him, coming in Green Bay, learning that system, and then being plucked, maybe Matt Flynn style, to go do something else.
Right.
Because honestly, that's probably his career path, right?
If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and stays as fantastic as he has been throughout this portion of his career, there's no question that will be the career path for Brett. You won't be able to get into that situation, but no better guy to learn from, to apprentice under than Aaron Rodgers in terms of how he sees the field, how he throws the ball down the field. He's a very, very fun quarterback.
And it is sort of ironic, or this is what Kara Henderson always says, there's a difference between ironic and coincidental, but I think this is irony, that the name of the prospect to learn from Aaron Rodgers and wait for his shot is named Brett. Right? Don't you think?
Bookended by Brett.
That's right. There's Brett, Aaron, then Brett. I just realized that. I just thought of that right now.
Let that sink in. Let
it all sink in, guys.
Okay.
Wait, the show writers didn't give that to you earlier?
No show writers.
Don't we have show writers?
Yes, you know, there is no show writer.
Oh, okay.
No show writers. Rick Neuheisel here in studio. So Mariota, Wisenhunt is going to have to change his spots, right? This is a leopard that's going to have to change his spots a little bit here, correct?
I think so. I listened to him talk about if you take a quarterback with the number 2 spot, he's got to be your starting guy. He's got to be considered your franchise quarterback. Marcus Mariota, to go and become that immediately, is going to have Ken Wisenhunt come to the center of the pool and meet him halfway and incorporate some of that post-snap decision-making. It's proven to be effective in the NFL. You saw Cam Newton use it. Russell Wilson uses zone read principles right now in Seattle. We talked about RG3 and Colin Kaepernick at the 49ers used a bunch of pistol stuff to get to the brink of a championship, taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl against the Ravens. So I think it's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see how much Wisenhunt enjoys the process.
And what do you think's going on right now in New Orleans? Sean Payton choosing Garrett Grayson, saying we love our starter. Drew Brees, 36 years of age. Now, that's a different story than the one that we talked about with Brett Hundley and Aaron Rodgers, because this is a third-round choice.
I wonder if things aren't getting a little sour in New Orleans. You know, Drew Brees is unwilling to take a pay cut. At least you read that. He's unwilling to change his contract to create more players. Is there a division, maybe a hairline fracture, if you will, in the Drew Brees relationship with the New Orleans franchise? I don't think it's happening between Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I think they're still thick as thieves. But is there a little bit of tiring of what Drew Brees has done? Now, that being said, all it takes is one more playoff run, and they're going to love him again.
First blush, who's a better pro when it is all said and done, Winston or Mariota? Who do you think is going to have a better pro career?
At the end of the day, let's say it this way. If you told me right now that Winston would never have a off-field hiccup, it'll be Winston. If he is as we've seen him to be, then it'll be Mariota.
It's that simple.
It's that simple to me. I just, Jameis Winston has everything you want between the white lines. He looks down the field. He throws people open. The game's never too big for him. He loves the come-from-behind drama. He lets it immediately go from it. No one in the history of college football's weathered as much slings and arrows as he has and comes back and perform admirably as he has done. I mean, the guy has been phenomenal. But can he keep himself from making these just enormous mistakes, which are no longer going to be called immaturity? They're not going to be called just flat stupid.
Did you see the fight the other night?
I saw the fight.
You did.
And I am 100% along with Jim Lampley in terms of it was a giant charade if the guy's hurt and they're taking all that money.
Would you like to join a class action lawsuit against him if that starts? Because that just happened, right, Brockman? Correct? Is that true?
Correct.
That was just announced?
Yeah, it was just announced, involving ticket sales and pay-per-view.
I'm not sure I'm ready to do that, but as I heard one of the broadcasters during the telecast say, or maybe it was a post-game analysis or post-fight analysis, they've hurt the sport going forward. The pay-per-view audience are going to say, "Am I going to get duped?"
You think so?
But what we do know though, Rich, is that people love it. People love the fight game, and people can't wait to turn on a great fight. And because you don't have to plunk down the $100 right then, they're going to do it.
People, I think, love the nostalgia of what it used to be.
Right.
Seeing Denzel Washington and Tom Brady and all of these stars going in Las Vegas, just like the old days when Sinatra's ringside taking pictures with a camera for Life magazine, right? And we're hoping that we could rekindle those memories. And it's the same cycle of overhype, never living up to the hype. There's an excuse as to why they never lived up to the hype. Let's talk about rematch while wringing our hands over the black eye to the sport of boxing.
You're younger than I, but you remember going back to Leonard and Hearns.
Sure.
Those fights, they lived up to their hype.
Sure.
Those fights,
Hagler,
that Marvin Hagler,
sure.
Roberto Duran, that little
Thomas Hitman Hearns, sure.
window. Thomas Hitman Hearns was never going to make it to a third round. You were going to get everything you needed in rounds 1 and 2. And I'm telling you, you couldn't be late for that fight because that thing was going on. We used to show the Hagler-Hearns fight, just the first round, to our players. You want to see what intensity is? You just put that fight on.
No kidding. I just think that the minute that Tyson bit Holyfield's ear, that was it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some other fights. I know Pacquiao has his fandom and Mayweather has his fandom.
Right.
And they've been the minute that happened, it's been all downhill. I mean, you know, Tyson, what he did was people are nostalgic about it too. Again, I don't want to profess to be a boxing expert. It just seems to me the same cycle all the time.
Right.
So
there's a market for it, as we saw firsthand.
And while we're on the subject of I guess being on the take, again, I have the envelope tonight. Just I'm saying, for your
just a little
award.
something here
just
under
saying,
the table.
Yes, well, we're talking about not being on the up and up. I have the envelope tonight. Let's get to this poll question. Stop overpaying for razors with so much shave technology. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors and grooming supplies right to my door for a couple of bucks. Shave time, shave money. Upgrade to DollarShaveClub.com. That's DollarShaveClub.com. Chris Brockman, the poll question. RichEisenShow.com.
Who is Rich going to lose to tonight at the Sports Emmys? Rick, do you have a vote?
Tell me who else is in the category.
Ernie Johnson, Bob Costas, the late great Stuart Scott, Mass Veskurgen, Keith Olbermann, or no one. Rich wins.
Be honest.
Well, I'm going with Rich winning.
Oh gosh.
But if I can't take that choice because obviously I'm being swayed here as I sit in this chair.
Yeah.
The late great Stuart Scott would be the sentimental choice,
No
right?
doubt. His daughters are going to be there tonight.
That would be a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
56% Stu Scott.
Stu Scott. Is it, Law, you tell me, is Matt Vasgersian the American Ferroa of this group?
He very well may be the American Ferroa because this is twice.
What are you talking about?
This is about 4 times now. You've butchered it.
By the way, hold on a minute. This is the way last week Chris Brockman pronounced the soon-to-be Kentucky Derby winner, American Pharaoh.
American Ferroa.
Ferroa.
Hold on a second, Rick. It's spelled Pharoah.
As if we know.
That reads like Ferroa to me.
How does that name right there read to you?
That
Vasgersian.
That is Terroa.
So he's an American
Wait, did I get it right that time?
Say it one more time.
Say that first and last name because I think that's where
that's what it say it.
Matt Vasgersian.
It's
struggle. He's workshopped it. You were going Vasgersian.
You were calling Mass Vasgersian.
I could hang with you on the Vasgersian.
Was I combining the two?
I can't stay with you on American Pharaoh.
All right. The O is before the A.
You lose me there, though. I can hang with you on Vasgersian. There's lots
Basically
of
what
ways
he's saying, when it comes to American Pharaoh, you're on your own. You're on your own.
You're on your own.
Well
hey now.
With my Sharona.
Anyway, 56% thinks Stu's taking it home tonight.
Good to see you here, Coach. We'll see you tonight.
Wonderful to be here. I look forward to it.
You bet.
I will have my wife and sister come and say hello to you, too.
The whole Neuheisel family.
You know, we don't get these opportunities.
Well, from my family, too, Susie wanted me to say hello to you. So
I appreciate it.
You are the man.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.